All right, let's dive right into our Airtable base that we're going to use to run a client support desk. So we've got three tables here, and one is going to be the place where tickets are going to be submitted via a form on your website, which I'll show you in just a minute. And I've also got a table in here for clients that will be on support plans. I've got some sample data in here. And then I have a table holding what kind of support plans we offer. And you can put in the time that might be included and what the rate is. And by linking each client with the plan, I can pull in via different lookup fields what's included. I've got some dates in here that are going to help to filter tasks. But primarily, the support tasks table is what's running the majority of the system. So when people submit a request via the form, which we're going to go over, it's going to auto create a date with this formula. So the person doesn't have to enter it, just saving them a step. They're going to select one of the pre-made categories that we have, and these are just a sample, and you can come in here and make whatever ones you want to just kind of generalize what the request is related to. The status field they will not do, that's internal. They'll provide their website, what the request is. There's a place for them to upload attachments if they need to. And then all of the rest of the fields are pulled in via lookup, and the client won't see any of that. The only thing, let's just move the client field down here. The only thing that you'll need to do when tickets come in is to link them, because well, let's jump over to the form and I'll tell you why that's important. So this is the form that we've made to embed on your website. And I have this base in my Pro plan, so there's going to be some things here that I'm able to do that if you're on a free plan, you can't. You don't need to have the Pro plan to run a support desk, and I'll just as I'm going through, I'll show you what the differences are. So because I'm on the Pro plan for this base, I could add in my own cover image and I could add in my logo, but I don't think this is necessary, because if you're embedding this form on your website, you're already going to have that branding on there, so you don't need Airtable to do it. That would be more for if you just wanted to send people a link and you wanted some sort of branding instead of just a plain form. So we can add in some descriptive text here if we want. And I've pulled in the support category field, and I've made that required. And I want them to type in the website that this is for, and I want them to type in the details of the request. That's a required field. And then optionally, say they want some text updated or a photo replaced, they can put any kind of files here that would help the person to complete the task. And also here, because I have this one on a support plan, I was able to change the default submit text to request support. I can also hide Airtable branding on the Pro plan. I have the redirect to URL. I believe this is a Pro plan only feature too. You can change the message on either plan. So I changed it to say that really, regardless of who submits a request for support from a company, you're going to respond only to the main contact, because good practice is that you have one central contact that's managing any projects or tasks or whatnot for the company that signed up for a plan, so it keeps your system nice, neat, and clean. So show, submit another response, show a new blank form, an email. These are all things that are available on free or Pro plan. So you'll notice here that I have this turned off because I don't want an email to come in every single time a support ticket comes in. And we're going to handle notification of that a different way. So here's what our form looks like if it's not embedded on the site. And you'll see it's just very plain and simple, but because we have embedded it over here, and yes, don't get super excited. I'm showing you everything before we even cover this part, but this is what it looks like embedded. So you could see I've already got my website branding. I've put a little title here. And this page, you would have a page for each client where they can go and request support and see their support time that they've submitted for the month. For sites that have client logins, you can put this behind a client login. Sites that use Sife, you can embed this in a Sife dashboard and just have the entire Sife dashboard on a page. There's many different ways to do it. This is just one example. So I've embedded the request support form on the page, and then these are the tasks that have been submitted specifically for this client. And I'll show you how we pull that. So back over here, let's close the plain form. The way you share the form is you can give a link or you can embed it, which is what we did. And you'll see that it generates the embed code for you. You can turn on to auto-sized height, and it's all mobile ready, which is awesome. Here's a couple things that are related to Pro Plan only. You can restrict with a password or an email domain, but I'm not even using that for this. So that is how you generate the code to embed it on your website. Now, let's get over to the actual tickets themselves when they come in. So all of the tickets are incoming in this general form. You know, each time somebody submits one, it's creating a new row here. So you'll need to link it to the company that it goes to. Client number 1, there we go. And then, you know, once you start working on the ticket itself, you can change this to in progress if you want. You don't even have to use that. And then once you're done, you just enter in the time. This is a newer field for Airtable. It's called the duration field. And you can format it however you prefer. I just use the general hour minutes. And as soon as you're finished with the task, you can enter in the time that it took you. And let's see if I made a form specifically for completing tickets. I didn't, but what you could do, since some of these fields aren't really necessary to what you need to see to complete the task, instead of scrolling all the way over here to enter time and whatnot, you could just make another view that only shows the columns that you need. Let's see, another thing that is happening here, because I have a pro plan, is the colors that I have to choose from. There's just more colors, but again, that's not necessary to run this. You could do this on a free plan, and you don't need that. So how do we configure to only show support tasks for a particular client? So what we do is we do a filter. So for this example, I only want to see support tasks for a particular client in a particular time frame. So I'm using filters for that. So the dates come into play where I have the task history is only showing tickets that come in this month. And I want this view to only show tickets for this client. And you can use the website field here too if you want. And I also want the status to basically be anything. We don't even need this. We could take that off. I'm not sure why that was there. So all of the tickets are showing here, and it's specific to this. So as you get more and more clients coming in, once this view is set, you can just do another view to create the next one for another client. And we want, I think there's client 2. Yes. And then we would just rename this to client2.com. So That's the only real setup that there is you'll want to keep, you'll make a view for each client, and those views is what you will embed for each client's page over here so that they only see their tickets. All right. So let me just go back over here. And I apologize if I'm moving a little bit too fast. I feel like I'm clicking too fast, but hopefully I'm not. So if you remember back over there in that view where I said I only want tasks to show this month, this field is using a formula to make that happen. So what this is saying is if the latest billing date, which is here, is greater than the current date, then it should say last month. Otherwise, it will say this month. And that field is what we use to make sure that tasks are only showing this month. All right, now, how do we find out how do we know when a ticket's coming in? If we turned off the email on the form, like I mentioned before, let's assume that we're using Slack, and Airtable natively integrates with Slack, which is awesome. So let's see. I'll show you how we get there here. If you go to, actually, excuse me, if you go here, in the drop down, you'll see Slack notifications. And when you click that, you will come over here. And it asks you which base you want to use. We're using the client support base. I've made a support channel in Slack, and that's where I want updates to be posted. And you have a couple options here. I used a particular view so that anytime there's records visible in that view, and this is the view, it's going to ping a notification to Slack. So back over here, this is a view I made, and I've named it Slack. So on the Pro plan, you can control different views and whether people can see them or not. But my kind of way of getting around that on a free plan is if you just label something ahead with like Slack, Zap, whatever you're using it for, it should be an alert to people using this base. Don't go in there and mess with it because it's being used for something. So I guess if you can't trust your staff, you would have to upgrade to a Pro plan to lock a particular view down. But let's hope that's not the case. So Slack, new tickets. I have a filter, and new tickets means the status of the ticket is just empty. Let's see, where's that field here? I probably got it hidden. Yes. So this field here is empty because we haven't started it yet and we haven't completed it yet. And anything that filters in there is going to ping over to Slack via this setup. So here's my Slack. And you can see I've got a support channel here. And this is what the tickets look like when they're incoming. So it pulls in the category, the request, and the website. So you're in Slack and boom, you've got a notification now that there's a new ticket to work on. So awesome. Now, when we're done with the task, how do we let the client know that we're done? So what we're going to do here is, let me switch on. Did I hide this field? Of course I hid this field. All right, so status. So you're done with the ticket. You mark it completed and you've entered in the time. Because you've marked it completed, that is going to trigger a zap because this is a particular view based on the filter. Status is completed. So you need to make sure when you're doing tickets that whoever's doing them, if it's not yourself, understands that when they change the status to completed, it's going to automatically trigger a zap. Let's jump over here. So now in Zapier, we're going to make an automatic email for tickets that are completed. So we're going to pull in our Airtable. The trigger we're going to use is new record in view. And then we're just going to link up the client support base, the table support tasks, and then the view we're using is Zap completed tickets. All right, and then you can, I've used Gmail here. You can use, Zapier has their own email that you can use to send. Since I was already linked up, I just chose my Gmail. So we're using a Zap that says when the ticket is marked completed, we're going to send an email message. And I'm going to use this email because it's linked. And the template that I'm going to send is we're going to pull in the email field that we have pulled in via our Airtable. I'm saying it's from my support address. You can put in your own support name. And then I have, filtered in the subject just to say your support requests, which pulls in that category, is complete. And then I just pulled in some simple fields, so it's just a reminder to them of what the request was. So it shows their dates, the site, and then whatever they entered for the details. And you can, of course, put this whatever you want. And then, boom, off goes the email when you hit complete. And here's what it looks like. Your support request, add, update content is complete. Here are the details. Sincerely, your support team. Again, change that text to whatever you want. And there you go. So what I've done is we've used Airtable. You can use a pro plan or not a pro plan. It doesn't matter. You could still run this. You're using Slack, which, of course, this can be reconfigured to not use Slack. You could do this a number of different ways, but this is using Slack to get notified when a new ticket comes in. And then when it's completed, we've got an automatic email going out to the client saying it's done. And the client is aware of how to send a request for support. So it's staying out of your email. And they're also aware of what they have requested, what you're currently working on, and the time that it's taken. And they can check this at any time. You can even set up an automatic email to go out saying, hey, reminder to check your support page to submit requests or see where your tickets are as far as the status goes. So I hope this helps, especially solopreneurs that are trying to move requests for support out of their email and into something a little more standardized, but without having to get into a full support desk system. You can just run this for free, whether you grow or not. This could last for quite a while. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll put links to the different apps that I used, as well as a link to the base if you'd like to copy it. I'll move it into a free plan so that you can link to it and use it and start working on setting up your own support desk. So I'll talk to you soon and see you next week in the new video.